in today's lesson, we'll be looking at data handling and more specifically, measures of central tendency. So who can tell me what are the measures of central tendency? We don't normally like to remember what measures of central tendency are, but when you say those three things, it will come to mind very quickly. The 3 M's in data handling. What are the 3 M's that we always work out or have to calculate? Mean, good one. Median and mode. I'm seeing them come through. Nice, well done. Okay, so our measures of central tendency is our mean, mode, and median. And I think everyone loves this topic. Okay, who can tell me how do we work out the mean? What is the mean? Does anyone want to unmute and maybe tell us? It might be easier to say it than type it out.
The average of a data set.
Good, well done. The average. I couldn't see who said that, but
it was
well
Emily.
Done. Emily, thank you. The average. Okay, and how do we work out the average?
To add up all the values.
Okay, so we add up all the values. So we say the sum of our data. And I see Lizuko, raise a hand. Hi, Lizuko.
Just check a message on your screen that's going to ask you to unmute. Okay, maybe we can try again a little bit later because I'm not running on my end.
Thanks for trying, Lizuka. Maybe we'll try just now. But I see, I don't know the name, but Zoom user has said, add all the numbers and divide it by the total numbers. Fantastic. So our sum of our data, we add all the numbers, divide by the total numbers in our data sets. Okay, fantastic. And then mode. What is our mode of a data set? Oh, nice. That was nice and quick. Okay, fantastic. The number that appears the most in the data set, the number that we see the most of, that occurs the most, mode, most sounds very similar. Okay, so number that occurs the most. And then median. Nice. We could also say the most repeated number. Good. And our median, it's very important that we do what first with our numbers before we work out the median. What happened, guys? Yes. We rearrange them. Okay, so we order the data set. So we go from smallest to biggest, and then it is the Tando, raise a hand. Let's hear from Tando.
Tando, just check on your screen. There's a message that's going to pop up and tell you to unmute so you can talk to. Hi, Tando.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. I was thinking the middle number, it is where you must start arranging first, then at the end, there's a number that you must multiply or divide. That's how I think it is.
Okay, not so much the multiply. So we put the numbers in order. And then what do we do? We try find which number?
We try finding the number in the middle.
Number in the middle, fantastic. Okay, so it's the middle number in an ordered data set. Tando, and now what happens if I have 2 numbers in the middle?
You are going to add them both.
And then what?
We make them one number.
Make them one number, and then we need to, and I can see a lot of us have mentioned it in the chat, we divide by 2. Well done, Tando.
Thanks, ma'am.
Good work. Thanks. Good hearing from you. Sorry. Okay, so I see a lot of you also commented in the chat. If there are 2 numbers, you add them together and you divide by 2. So that can give us the exact middle point in our data sets. Leander, there will always be a median, okay, in the data sets. There will always be a middle point in all your numbers that have been ordered. The only thing that they might not have is you might not get a mode in your data set. So if there's no number that is repeated, then you just have no mode. Okay, but there'll always be an average. As long as you've got numbers, there will be an average. As long as you have numbers, there will be a median. Okay, it's just the mode where you might not have one. Okay. Tomorrow there will never be 3 in the middle. Okay. There will always, it's either 1 exactly in the middle or 2. If there's 3, then obviously the one that's in between those 3 will be the middle number. Okay. Hope that makes sense. So it's either 2 or 1 that will be in the middle. Okay. Then, so that's looking at the measures of central tendency. Then we have something called measures of spread. What do you think our measure of spread is? The one layer, yes.
Luanda, just check on your screen for a message that's going to ask you. There we go.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
Ma'am, the measures of spread tells us how far apart the data values are in a data set.
That is a fantastic answer. Sheesh. Well done. Okay. So how far the data is spread and how do we work that out? How can we show that spread? What do we calculate? Any takers?
Ma'am, I'm not sure, but I think it's like the largest number minus the smallest.
That is exactly it. Well done. Okay, now I see they're coming through. So we take our largest number minus our smallest number, and that is called the range. Okay, so our highest or our biggest number minus the lowest or smallest. Okay, then that's is for all grades. And then when you get to grade 12, you also work out something called an interquartile range. Okay, so the grade 12s will recognize this. That is your quartile 3 minus your quartile 1. But that only comes into play in grade 12. So those are your measures of spread. And we've got our measures of central tendency. Okay, how do you guys feel about summarizing data? Is it one of your favorite topics? Are you guys ready to do some questions? Let me know in the chat. Ready. Hate it. Oh, IQR. Ready. Okay. Questions, please. We are ready. Oh, look at this. Okay. Apologies. I should have gone through the class rules before I went through my whole little summary of summarizing data. So again, I do apologize as well. I did not manage to get your quiz results, but I'll make sure that Dale mentions them on Wednesday. Okay, so let's get started. Now it is quite a bit to read. Let me know if I need to zoom in a bit more. Okay, so guys, with data handling, they're always going to give you a scenario. They're always going to give you some stats, obviously a whole lot of numbers, because we need to work with the numbers and summarize the data. Zoom in a bit more, please. Okay. So let's just focus, I guess, on the first part. So I'm also just trying to get it perfect on my screen as well. All right, so with data handling questions, like I said, lots of information thrown at you. So it's always important that you know what's important and what is not important. Okay, so the first thing it says, in South Africa, many people are suffering from chronic health conditions. Population estimation in thousands in 2020 mid-year for the people with chronic health conditions is given in a table on Annexure B. So the table below is going to show us how many people have different types of chronic conditions. And then they just give you a little side note here saying chronic health conditions require one to have ongoing medical attention or take medicine on a daily or regular period as per a medical doctor's prescription. So they're just telling you what a chronic health condition is. Okay, so looking at the table here, always important to read the heading, population estimation in thousands in 2020 mid-year. So the key thing here to take note of is that the numbers are in thousands. Oh, sorry, that's a big. These numbers are in thousands. So instead of, if we look at the first one, this number 74 here, instead of writing out 74,000, they've just written 74. But because they said in the heading, it's in thousands, we can read that 74 as 74,000 people, 74,000 males in the Western Cape have asthma. Okay, it's obviously also less daunting or less intense when they display the numbers this way. So instead of writing all those zeros down, because then this table would look more overwhelming, have a lot more zeros, the numbers would look really big. So always just check in the table how they have set it up. Sometimes they might say in millions, and then we would say, okay, that 74 is 74 million. Okay, so all these numbers are in thousands, just written in shorthand. Kia, can you hear me? Because I see
100%.
In the comments, someone can't hear me.
All right.
Fine now. Okay, perfect. All right. So looking at this table, it might be a bit harder to zoom in a bit more. We can see there are three main chronic health conditions: asthma, diabetes, hypertension, which is high blood pressure. So these are the three that they are focusing on. Then they've given you the number of males, females, and the total of each chronic health condition for each province. There's quite a few numbers and things to take note of over here. Okay, so looking at the table, let's try question 1. Calculate the total number of males with chronic health conditions in KwaZulu-Natal. So again, whenever you looking at a lot of information, highlight the important things in a question. So they want to know the total number of males in KZN. I'm going to ask you guys to quickly do that for me. Okay, now keep in mind, they're not just talking about asthma. They said with chronic health conditions. So they're talking about all three. How many males have asthma, diabetes, hypertension, not just the asthma? Tando, how did you get that answer? Okay, now I'm seeing some of the same answers coming through. Good, good. Okay, 382,000. Thanks, Tiamo, for writing that out in full for us. Okay, so again, they say total number of males with chronic health conditions. So again, just reading exactly what they asked for. So that's all the chronic health conditions. They did not specify one. So now we need to go and find all the males in KZN. So the first one, 69,000 have asthma, 99,000 have diabetes, and 214,000 males have hypertension. Okay, so you'd obviously show you're working out. So 69, remember it's written in thousands, 69,000 plus 99,000 plus your 214,000. So we just add in 3 zeros on to every number that you see here. So that means there is a total of 382,000 males that suffer from these chronic conditions. Kagiso, yes, you've raised your hand.
Hi,
Hi,
how are you?
good and you?
I'm good. I'm a bit confused. Where is the 1,000 coming from? Because on the screen I'm seeing 69, 99, and 214.
Okay, good question. So in the heading of the table, so it's where I've highlighted over here at the top, it says estimation in thousands. So instead of them writing it out in full, they've just given it as shorthand in a way, told us as thousands in the heading though. So we read 69 as 69,000 because they've mentioned it at the top there.
Okay, thank you.
Pleasure. Okay, guys, so please always just take note of that. Sometimes they can say in millions. They like to do that also with graphs. I calculated all 3 times 1,000. Yeah, that's fine. Can do it that way as well. Because that's just adding 3 zeros at the end. Okay, good. All right. Question 2, use the number of diabetic people to determine the provincial range among provinces in South Africa. Okay, so the thing we're going to be looking at is diabetic people to determine the provincial range. So we're looking at the diabetic, how many people have diabetes to work out the range. So I'm going to scroll back up. Let's look at the everyone with diabetes to work out the range. Okay, so just to help, because it might be a bit hard with your screen, diabetes, we are looking at this row. These are the totals for everyone with diabetes. Okay, so they asked us to look at diabetes specifically and work out the range. How do we work out the range? Lawandle, hi.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
Ma'am, we work out the range by minusing the largest number with the smallest number.
Good. And have you determined which one's the highest and which one's the lowest yet?
Not yet, ma'am.
Not yet. Okay, perfect. But that's exactly how you'd work it out. I see Luyanda's already got the answer for us. I see a lot of you have told us how to work it out. Fantastic. Funo also given us the correct answer. Okay. So we take our highest number, which is 363,000 minus 34,000, which gives us 329,000. You can write it out as 363 minus 34, which will give you your 329 as well. It's how they've given you the data, so you can also use the same numbers. Okay, fantastic. Looks like you all got that. Well done. Okay. Question 3. So this is going to take a bit of time because we're working out the mean. Calculate the provincial mean number of people with hypertension in South Africa. Okay. So let's just take note of what's been given to us. They want to know what is the mean, okay, of people with hypertension in South Africa. So in South Africa means across all the provinces. We're not specifically looking at one province. We're looking at all the people, or we're trying to work out the average number of people with hypertension. So I'm going to go back to the screen. Okay, and we're looking for hypertension specifically. We need to work out the average. Okay, so hypertension is our last chronic health condition listed, and I'm going to highlight the totals for you just so it's easy to see. It is in yellow. I'm going to ask you guys to please work out the mean for me there. It's going to take a bit of time, so I'll give you a few minutes. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more as well. If you need help, just let me know. Lufuno, you're on fire tonight. Sheesh, look how quick you are. That is amazing. Well done. For the hypertension category. Ti amo. Okay, I'm seeing some different answers here. Tabaling, yes. Taryn, good. Cabo. Yeah, you guys have got it. Nail on the head. Kahiso also. Well done. How? Also good. Ando, I suspect you are working out the range potentially there. Nice, Sejo. Yes, Lichle. Okay, so the correct answers are coming through. So all we had to do was go and add all the numbers I've just highlighted in yellow. Okay, if you highlight it, well, once you've added all of that up, so just to, apologies. Okay, that is your 725 plus 597. Okay, so make sure that you have 9 numbers because there are 9 provinces, and you take all those numbers, you add them up, and you divide by 9, and you could get an answer of 526,22. If you didn't add the zeros, if you added the zeros to show that it's thousands, your answer would have been 526,222. So that's if you added all the zeros into your calculation. So instead of saying 225, you said, sorry, 725, you would have said 725,597,000. Then you would have gotten this second answer. Both are fine. Okay. Question 4. Determine the median number of females that have asthma. So keywords here, median number of females that have asthma. Median number of females that have asthma. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly take all these other colors away so it's not so confusing to see. Females that have asthma. We want the median number. I'm going to highlight in yellow females with asthma, so it's easy for you to see on your screens. Okay, what is the most important thing to remember when working out the median? It needs to be in ascending order. Is it in ascending order? Nice, Ben. Oh, hello, Ben. So I see a lot of us have just jumped straight through to the middle and have said 101 is our median. Yeah, it's the middle number as we look at it, but are the numbers in ascending order from biggest to smallest? Kagiso, well done. Olopogeng, yes. Sika, if I'm saying that correctly, if not, let me know. Okay, good. All right, guys, so we just witnessed it now. A lot of us tend to forget to put our numbers in order. So maybe just in future, whenever you see a data handling question and you have to summarize the data, maybe put it in order straight away before you start with the questions, because you do tend to forget by the time they ask you about the median. Okay. And all right, I see we all have gotten the answer of 44. So you have to put it in order first. So those of you that didn't, the correct order and just remember you will get a mark for putting them in order. So it does not go to waste. You're not doing it in vain. Okay, you do get notice for this. It is 15, 16, 25, 33, 44, 91, 101, 12, 157, and then you find the middle one, which is indeed 44. Okay, so another way that you can determine which is the middle number, you can go and count how many numbers we have. We have 9 numbers. So exactly halfway would be 4.5. Okay, so here's exactly 4 numbers. And there's 4 numbers. So there are 4 numbers on either side of 44. Alternatively, you can go and cancel them out one by one. So you can go this side. Okay, 1, 1. Okay, cross out another one. Go this side, then that side, this side, then that side. And then you are left with just the 1 in the middle. If there were 2 in the middle, you would obviously have your 2 in the middle and then you divide by 2. So there are various ways you can try to figure out which one is in the middle. I hope that helps tomorrow. It's always biggest to smallest. Always, always, always. Okay. Figured it out. Okay, all sorted. Okay, now they've thrown a probability question into things. Determine the probability as a percentage of randomly selecting a diabetic female among chronic health suffering people in KZN. Okay. So selecting a diabetic female among everyone that is sick in KZN. Okay, so let's go have a look at those stats. Okay, we're looking at KZN specifically. Jasmine's raised their hand. Yes, Jasmine.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
Can you please go back to number 3 so I can write it down?
Sure. Do you want to maybe take a screenshot? Might be quicker.
Yes, please.
Cool. Let's quickly go to number 3. It was actually a lot to get down.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Okay, so let's remind ourselves quickly about the next question. Randomly selecting diabetic female amongst everyone suffering from a chronic health condition in KZN. Ben raised his hand. Yes, Ben.
Just check for a pop-up on your screen. There we go.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
I got onto 72.70%.
Okay, and how did you get that? What did you do?
I took the diabetic female and I divided it by the total amount.
Okay, but what was your total?
The total was 363.
Which numbers did you add up?
I put 264 divided by 363.
Okay, so you took the total of everyone with diabetes.
Yes.
Okay, let's just quickly go back to the question. So they said of randomly selecting a diabetic female among chronic health suffering people in KZN. So they are basically wondering, what is the chance of you picking someone that has diabetes that is female amongst everyone that has a chronic illness? So that's including asthma and including, what's the other one? Hypertension. So we're not just looking at diabetes specifically. We're looking at what are the chances of choosing a female that's diabetic amongst all the people that are sick in KZN. So our total is going to be slightly different. Does that make sense, Ben?
Yeah, I can still calculate it.
Sorry?
I can still calculate it.
Yeah. Do you want to quickly calculate it?
Oh, yes, please.
Okay. Let me know what you get. So for those of you I see in the chat asking, how do we work it out? Okay, so they've asked, what is the chance? So let's say you see all these people in KZN and you are going to randomly pick one. What is the chance that that person is going to be a female with diabetes? Okay, so that's including everyone with asthma, everyone with diabetes, everyone with hypertension. So you first need to work out how many people in KZN have these medical conditions. So we're going to take the total for asthma. So there's 170 people with asthma, 363 people with diabetes, or 363,000, sorry, and 757,000 people in KZN with hypertension. Okay, so that's the first step, is working out the total of the main total in KZN. Okay.
Ma'am, I got the answer.
What did you get?
I got 20% and 47.
Good. Well done. That's perfect. Fantastic, Ben. Good work. Okay, so what Ben did there, he got the right answer. I'm first working out the total for KZN. Because my 170,000, my 363,000 plus 757,000. So that means there's a total of 1290 people sick with chronic illnesses in KZN. But now we want to know specifically the probability of picking a female with diabetes. So we go and check what is the number, how many females do we have that have diabetes? Go back, sorry, it is a bit maybe hard to keep up with the scrolling up and down. Diabetes females, there are 264. So remember when we work out probability, we always put it in a fraction first. Okay, so we always take what we're looking for over our total. So what we're looking for is females with diabetes. So the 264 over our total. That's how we always work out probability. What we're looking for, so females with diabetes, the 267 over our total. And they asked us specifically to give it as a percentage. So we times by 100. And that is how you end up with the answer of 20.47%. Remember that percentages, always 2 decimal places. Okay, it was a bit of a tricky one with the way they worded things. Okay, I also originally thought that they were just talking about the diabetic people in general, but they said among all the chronic health suffering people in KZN, so we had to include asthma and hypertension. Good, Kahisto, good. Okay, Lufunyo, just watch rounding. So the actual answer before I rounded there was 20.465. Remember when we round to 2 decimal places, we focus on the number 2 places away from the comma. We look to the right and see if it goes up or stays the same. And because it's a 5 next to the 6, it goes up to my 7. And that's how I end up with 0.47 as my decimals. Okay, do we have any questions regarding this last question that we just did? Okay, Khabo, did you at least get the right answer then when you replaced that 0 you were missing? Okay, good. Okay. No other questions? All right, let's try another question, a different scenario. Let's see how this goes. Roan. Okay, let's quickly check. So, and I see we've got another question explaining question 6. Okay, so just quickly, guys, with question 6 again, it was a probability question. We always answer as a fraction first and then convert to a percentage or decimal or whatever they want. Okay, so they want a percentage specifically here. They said, what is the probability? So what is the chance of randomly selecting a diabetic female? So we focused on a diabetic female. So that is what we are looking at, diabetic female among all the people suffering from chronic health conditions in KwaZulu-Natal. So they didn't say among all the people suffering with diabetes in KwaZulu-Natal. They said among all the health conditions. So I have to use all of the totals for asthma, for hypertension, and diabetes. So that's what I did over here. I went and found the totals for everyone in KZN. So the 170 is for how many people in KZN suffer from asthma. The 363 is for how many people are suffering from diabetes in KZN. And the total. That's what I did. I added them all up Okay. And then I looked at how many females had diabetes, which was the 264 over here. So I take what I'm looking for, which is the female with diabetes, over the total, and I just times by 1,000. Okay, I know it was worded very like in a confusing way, because naturally we just want to look at what is the chance of someone having diabetes amongst all those that have diabetes and not all the other illnesses. Sofiso, yes, you've raised your hand.
Excuse me, ma'am. Hello, how are you, ma'am?
I'm good, and you?
I'm good, thanks. Ma'am, I think you forgot the key, each like 170,000.
Sorry?
I think you forgot the key for 170. It's 170,000.
Oh, okay, no, you can include the 3 zeros or not. So either way is fine.
Oh, okay.
So you would have had, so I'm going to put it in red here, you would have had an extra 3 zeros here, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And then you would have put 3 zeros there and there, but you should have ended up with the same answer, did you?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, so you can write it out either way, so that's perfect. I know I add in the zeros, but you don't need to necessarily, but if it makes more sense, you can also do it this way.
Thank you.
So you get the same answer, it's perfect. Nice questions, Fiso, well done. Sorry, you are correct. The answer is still right, but I see Kaleho just said that it's 264. Apologies. I don't know what I was doing there. The answer is still the same though. So I wrote 267 up here. It's 264. Apologies, but the answer is still correct. Okay. Can we try the next question now? Okay. Yamkela is also a rugby coach in his community. He is looking for an under-19 rugby team. He uses the following data that he collected from the school's database in his area for rugby players according to their ages. Okay, so they've organized the data for us quite nicely. So we can see that there are 8 boys that are 13 years old. We don't know how many are 14 years old. We can see that 13 boys are 15 years old. So instead of them writing out 13 8 times, they have organized it nicely for us in this table. But you can now picture the data set. There are 8 13-year-olds. Okay, there are 13 15-year-olds. Okay, so it's just being presented a bit differently now. Okay, so they're the different number of boys and their ages. Question 1 says, determine the value of A, which is the number of boys, if the data that Yamkela collected was for 90 boys. So they're asking us to work out what is A, and we can see A twice here. And the only clue they've given us is that the total equals 90. So if I had to add up all those numbers, I should get 90 at the bottom here. Does anyone have a clue of what we would have to do here? How could I work out A? Avuyile, yes. Kagiso, yes. Khabo, yes. Okay, so let's start with Kagiso.
For A, I think you're supposed to say 13 minus 8.
Just 13.
Minus 8.
And then what?
So you can get your answer. And
Okay.
then for the other,
Yeah.
and then for the other one, you're supposed to say 10 minus 15.
Okay, so if you do that, so this is one way you can check if it's correct, right? So you're saying 13 minus 8, which would be 5, right?
Yes.
And
And 10 minus 15 is also 5.
5. Now, if you add up all these numbers, 8 plus 5 plus 13 plus 30
So
plus,
15 plus 10.
yeah, will you get
And
90?
no, you wouldn't get 90.
Okay, so then what do you do after that?
But the amount that you get, you minus from 90.
Okay, so let's see.
You get 76.
You got 76.
Yes.
And you say 90 minus 76.
Yes.
Okay, that does work out. But that doesn't tell us what A represents necessarily, because A is not equal to 5. Okay.
Or maybe the answer that you get, which is 14, you
Mhm.
divide it by 2.
That's exactly what you need to do. So A is then going to equal what?
A is going to equal 7.
7. Good. Okay, so that was a roundabout way, but you did get to the right answer. So that's one way of doing it. Well done. That's good.
Thank you.
Let's have a look at it. So we know that the total is 90 boys, right? So we can take all our numbers. So we can say 8 plus the letter A plus 13 plus 30 plus 15 plus the letter A plus 10. Now, if I add all of those up, it should equal 90. Okay, so now I'm just going to make this a lot easier to work with. I'm going to go and add all those numbers up. When I add those numbers up, I get 76. And I get 2 A's left over. So I'm just going to say 2A. I'm going to make it 2A. Okay, is equal to 90. Okay, which works in line with what Kagiso said. I'm now going to take my 76 to the other side. Okay, when I take it to the other side, because it's a positive 76 here, it becomes negative 76 on this side. Okay, so that leaves me with 2A on this side is equal to 14. 90 minus the 76. And because there's 2 A's, I'm going to divide by 2. Divide by 2. So A is equal to 7. So we can replace 7 wherever we see A over here. And if we add up all of these numbers, we will get to 90. Again, there's various ways you can do it. So if you did it differently but got the same answer, that is perfectly okay. Okay, and I see a lot of you did say 7, so that's amazing. Okay, do we have any questions with this one? This is quite a popular type of question in data handling. Okay, nice. Okay, so we're all getting the 7s. Well done. That's really impressive, guys, because this is a little bit of a harder question. Okay, good. I see some answers still coming through. Okay, then question 2. Determine the modal age for the data collected. Okay, so Bira, I'm going to go back to question 1 at the end. Question 2, determine the modal age. What do they mean by modal age? Modal is the same as
The age.
okay, the most frequent number or the mode. Okay, so sometimes the modal looks a little bit funny and we forget that it means the mode. Okay, so what is our modal age over here? Okay, so again, if you're looking at the number of boys, you'll see that it is, well, 7's been repeated. However, if I had to rewrite all of these numbers, like I said earlier, if I had to say 13 years old, 13, 8 times, 13. Okay, 8 times. Then there are 7 14-year-olds. I'm going to write 14 7 times. Okay, we can already see that there's going to be more 13-year-olds because there's 8 of them compared to the 14-year-olds. But there are more 15-year-olds because there's 13 15-year-olds. So if we think about it, what is the modal age? What age do we see the most of? Not how many boys. There we go. Well done. Now the correct answers are coming through. 16. Okay. So if they're saying what is the modal number of boys? So no, modal number of boys, then our answer would be 7. But the question asks for the modal age. Which age do we see the most of? Which is indeed 16 because they are 30 16-year-olds. So if we had to rewrite this data, we would see 30 16s listed. Okay. Cool. We all got that. Well done. And then I think that is it for today because the next question is going to take a lot longer. So I can maybe ask Dale to finish that off with you guys on Wednesday. How do you guys feel about this revision on data handling that we've done today? There were some confusing questions, right? But do we feel better about it? Interesting. You enjoyed it. Good. It was very good. Okay, so I see Kia has added the pace poll. Sorry that we couldn't finish. But it is 7 o'clock now. It was really, really great to be able to interact with all of you guys today. It was amazing hearing from you. Yeah, I hope you had a good lesson, and Dale should be back on Wednesday.
Teacher Monique, you keep saying Wednesday and our classes are on Thursday.
Thursday, sorry, I'm so used to them being Mondays and Wednesdays, sorry. On Thursday.
Guys, please make sure that you take the pace poll before you leave. And if you have taken it, thank you so much and toodles. Yes, Tando, thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for a great lesson. Sabira, do you still want me to explain question 1 again to you? Let me know. Toodles. Have a good evening, guys. And yeah, your next lesson is Thursday, not Wednesday. Bye, Tamo.
Toodles, Tando.
Noodles. Pleasure. Is it Reggie? I don't know how to say your name. I'm so sorry. Second name Jeremiah. Play. Right, maybe. Thank you for joining the lesson and for participating. For those who want to stay for the explanation on question 1, I'm going to quickly go through it again.
Ma'am, sorry to disturb you. Can
No
you please go back right to the top, the beginning of the question?
Beginning of which question? The first one we did, the very first one.
Yes, please.
This one.
Can you please, no, go to question 3, please. I want to know how you calculated everything.
For which one? This one.
Question 3.
Oh, 3.
Yes, please.
The mean number. Okay, so calculate the provincial mean number of people with hypertension in South Africa. So we were looking at hypertension specifically. Get my highlighter quickly. Okay, so we were looking at these numbers specifically because we're looking at hypertension, but for everyone in South Africa, so we had to look at all the provinces. Okay, so I've got the total for everyone with hypertension in Western Cape, the total for everyone with hypertension in Eastern Cape, for Northern Cape, etc. So these are all the provinces and the totals because they asked for hypertension in the whole of South Africa. So we want to know what is the average of people, average number of people that have hypertension. So remember, with average, we go and take all our numbers, add them up, and then divide by how many numbers there are. So all I did was I took the 725 plus the 597 plus the 143, 316, 757, 400, 1199, the 322, 277, and I divided by 9 because there are 9 numbers. So I think it was just confusing to see what numbers you were maybe using, Emily. Okay, so it was hypertension for South Africa. So I had to take the total. So I took the total of male and female for each province. Okay, and then I just worked out the average. Does that make more sense?
Yes, and also the probability question.
Okay. Okay, so this one was a little bit confusing because of how it was worded. So again, let me just quickly erase this. So, determine the probability of randomly selecting a diabetic female. So we want to know what are the chances of choosing a diabetic female. But then they said out of chronic health suffering people in KZN. So they said out of everyone in KZN that is suffering from something. They didn't say out of everyone with diabetes or out of everyone with asthma. They want to know in KZN, what is the chance that I'm going to choose a female that has diabetes out of everyone that is sick? Okay, so the chronic health suffering people in KZN, so that included everyone that was sick. So you had to go to the KZN column and get the total. So there were 170,000 people who suffered from asthma in KZN, 363 that suffered from diabetes in KZN, and 757 that suffered from hypertension. So what I did was I went and added all those numbers up because that's the total number of people that have a chronic illness in KZN. So that was the first step I did there. So as you can see, this part over here. Okay, I've added that up and that gave us, I got erased, 1290. So that's the total number of people that are sick, but we want to know specifically what are the chances of choosing a female with diabetes. So what I did was I went and found the number of females that have diabetes, which is the 264. So we always take what we're looking at over the total. So we're looking at females with diabetes. So it's the 264 over the total. And that's why I've got 264 over here over my total. Looking at what is the chance of choosing a female with diabetes over the total number of people that are sick. And because they want a percentage, I times by 100. It is a bit of a tricky one to wrap your head around, but I hope that maybe helped a little bit.
Yes, it did.
If not, I could maybe ask Dale to include more probability type questions in the rest of the revision as well.
Okay.
Okay. But you said it helped, right?
Yes, it did.
Okay, cool. Then I've also got Sabira and I suppose the others as well that are here just for a re-explanation on question 1 quickly. So again, guys, there are various ways you can do this. So I'm just going to explain my way. It is a bit of a maths core way of doing things when we, change things over the equal sign. Okay, so what they said is determine the value of A, which is number of boys. So we're missing number of boys here, number of boys here. How many 18-year-olds are there? How many 14-year-olds? Okay, they said, what is the value of A if the data collected was for 90 boys? So that was our clue there, 90 boys. So that means if I add all of these up together, it should equal 90. Okay, and if we go and add 8 plus 13 plus 30 plus 15 plus 10, it's not going to get us to 90. Okay, so what I did was I added what I've got there and I said equals 90 because we know if I say 8 plus whatever the A value is plus 13 plus 30 plus 15 plus whatever the A value is plus 10. If I add all of that up, if I know what A is, it's going to give me 90. So I can write that out as is. I know it has to equal 90. Okay, but now I know we have two variables in here. We've got two letter A's. So I'm just going to try and make this look a little bit less confusing, sorry. So I'm going to add up all the numbers. I'm going to say 8 plus 13 plus 30 plus 15 plus 10. When I add up the numbers, I get 76. Okay, and I have two A's left over. Okay, and then you can either understand it as, okay, we need to take the 76 to the other side of the equal sign. We want to take it this way because we need to get A by itself because we want to know what A is equal to. Okay, whenever you take something across the equal sign, you do the opposite operation. So it is positive 76. So I minus 76. So I take it this side and I minus 76. So that leaves me with 2A is equal to 14. And because there are two A's, I have to share it or divide by 2. So each A is actually equal to 7. Okay, alternatively, this point over here, you could just say, okay, well, what is the difference between 90 and 76? What is left over? Because I know that I need to get from 76 to 90. So what is missing between that? So you say 90 minus 76, which gives you your 14. Okay, so what is missing between these two is 14. We know there are two A's, so I have to split it in half, divide by 2. So A is equal to 7. Okay, Subira, does that help? Everyone else that's still here, does that help a little bit more?
Yes, it did actually.
Good, I'm glad. Okay, fantastic. Thank you for asking these questions, guys. I'm really glad I could help you afterwards, better understand everything. It was really nice teaching you guys this evening.